In our last episode, we stumbled upon a bunch of settlers in the ruins of Concord and rescued them from raiders who were trying to kill them. We escorted them back to Sanctuary, our old home, whereupon they began to rebuild. The leader of this group of settlers, Preston Garvey, is a member of a group called the Minutemen, and he asked us to join them. And you know what? Maybe someday we will, but at the moment, we need to focus on finding Sean. With the settlers was a woman named Mama Murphy, and she claimed to be in possession of a power called the Sight. Using the Sight, she told us that our son Sean was still alive, and we would find him at the Great Jewel of the Commonwealth, Diamond City. We left Sanctuary and headed south, following the lights towards Diamond City. We passed through Concord and then stumbled upon the ruins of Lexington. Lexington is a sprawling city with lots of interesting sights, including the Corvega assembly plant that I've covered in another video, the Super Duper Mart, and lots of unmarked raider camps. However, while traveling through Lexington, our Pip-Boy picks up military frequency AF-95, and we start the quest Fire Support. Opening up our Pip-Boy, we can listen to this new frequency.
Automated message repeating. This is Scribe Haylen of Reconnaissance Squad Gladius to any unit in transmission range. Authorization ARCS, Ferrum 9-5. Our unit has sustained casualties, and we're running low on supplies. We're requesting support or evac from our position at Cambridge Police Station.
Sounds like somebody needs help at the Cambridge Police Station. If our 200-year-old memory is anything to go by, the Cambridge Police Station is going to be just west of here. The fraternal Post 115, where we were scheduled to give our speech the day the bombs dropped, was nearby, so we should know exactly where this is. Heading that way, we begin to hear the sounds of gunfire off in the distance. Upon getting close, we see what appear to be a bunch of soldiers fighting feral ghouls.
Check your fire. Shh. Over there.
And the ghouls just keep coming and coming.
Oh, prisoners!
But at last, we managed to assist these guys and kill them all.
Fine, then.
When done, we can talk to the commander of this unit, a man named Paladin Danse.
Excuse me.
We appreciate the assistance, civilian, but what's your business here?
Before I answer, will you tell me who you are?
In due time. If you want to remain in our compound, I suggest you answer my question first.
I prefer to keep my business to myself.
Then, if there's nothing left to discuss, I suggest you leave our compound immediately.
But this doesn't lock us out. We can talk with him again and pick up from the same spot.
Paladin Danse.
Have you decided to cooperate and tell me what brought you here?
Pest exterminator. I heard you had a feral problem.
Evading my questions is a surefire way of getting yourself ejected from the compound.
I'm just trying to survive out here, like everyone else.
The way you charged in and engaged those ferals, I find that a bit difficult to believe. Are you from a local settlement?
Do all these questions really matter? After all, I helped you fight those ferals.
This would be much easier for both of us if you'd cooperate. Now, where are you from?
But if we pass the charisma check...
You make a fair point.
I'm from Sanctuary Hills, on the other side of Concord.
I've seen the location on our maps, but I've never visited the area myself. There isn't much over there for us to collect.
Don't really have a home.
An answer that I hear often. Whether it holds truth or not remains to be seen.
I'm from Vault 111.
You're a vault dweller? Most people wouldn't admit to such a thing. I appreciate your honesty. If I appear suspicious, it's because our mission here has been difficult. Since the moment we arrived in the Commonwealth, we've been constantly under fire. If you want to continue pitching in, we could use an extra gun on our side.
At this rate, You'll be dead in 2 days, and I want no part of it.
Surely we could spare a little aid, sir. We don't even know what they're doing here.
Then there's no need for you to remain here. Now, unless you have any relevant information to share with us, I want you to leave our compound immediately.
But this doesn't lock us out. We can go back to him and pick up where we left off.
Excuse me, Paladin Danse?
You can move along, civilian. Our situation might appear dire, but I've led my men through worse.
That all depends. How much are you paying?
We need allies, not opportunistic mercenaries. I have no inclination to pay for your services.
But if we pass the charisma check,
So you're a mercenary. Typical. Fine. You help us, and I'll see you're compensated for your services.
I'll continue to help, but you owe me an explanation first.
Agreed. The more we know, the better we may assist.
Very well.
I want to help, but I don't like the secrecy. Who are you, really?
Very well. I'm Paladin Danse, Brotherhood of Steel. Over there is Scribe Haylen and Knight Rhys. We're on recon duty, but I'm down a man and our supplies are running low. I've been trying to send a distress call to my superiors, but the signal's too weak to reach them.
Sir, if I may,
Proceed, Haylen.
I've modified the radio tower on the roof of the police station, but I'm afraid it just isn't enough. What we need is something that will boost the signal.
Our target is ArcJet Systems, and it contains the technology we need. The deep-range transmitter. We infiltrate the facility, secure the transmitter, and bring it back here. So what do you say? You willing to lend the Brotherhood of Steel a hand?
Who are the Brotherhood of Steel?
Our order seeks to understand the nature of technology, its power, its meaning to us as humans, and we fight to secure that power from those who would abuse it.
How did mankind abuse technology?
Before the Great War, science and technology became more of a burden than a benefit. The atom bomb, bioengineered plagues, and FEV are clear examples of the horrors that technological advancement had wrought. We're here to make sure that never happens again.
This is just a fancy way of saying that you're looting everything you can get your hands on.
Looting implies that we're attempting to benefit ourselves. That couldn't be further from the truth.
So you steal technology and keep it for yourselves.
You're implying that we do this to benefit ourselves. I can assure you our motivation is quite the opposite.
Your cause seems noble.
I'm pleased that you agree. There are very few, outside the Brotherhood, who appreciate the gravity of the situation we're facing as a species. So, what do you say? Will you help us?
This sounds like a fool's errand to me. You're on your own.
Then I suggest you get out of our way. I don't have any more time to waste.
but even this doesn't lock us out. We can come back to Danse at any time and pick up right where we left off.
Danse?
Have you reconsidered my request for support, civilian?
It's a good plan. If we make it back.
I can assure you that I wouldn't undertake this mission unless I had confidence in your abilities.
No time to waste. Let's get moving.
Outstanding.
With that, Danse walks up the steps and addresses his troops lying by the door.
Haylen, take Rhys inside and bind his wounds.
Yes, sir.
Rhys, once you're on your feet, I want you to make certain the perimeter is secure.
I'm on it.
All right, civilian. It's time to prove your worth. Head into the police station and resupply yourself. Then let me know when you're ready to begin. Let's move out, people.
All right, big guy. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm coming.
With that, we complete the quest, Fire Support. Haylen helps Rhys to his feet, and we begin the quest, Call to Arms. Speak to Paladin Danse. Rhys and Haylen go inside. Danse said we could loot whatever we wanted to resupply, so starting outside we can loot some stim packs from a first aid kit. We can loot the bodies of the various ferals lying around the complex. There's some ammunition behind a barricade by the door. Then heading up to the guard post, we can loot more bodies, including the body of Knight Keen, a Brotherhood soldier who must have fallen here during the wave of ghouls. On his body, we can loot a Brotherhood of Steel holotag, as well as a laser rifle. We should keep the holotag. That might come in handy later. And we can loot 2 more ammo canisters, another first aid kit, before climbing the steps and heading inside the Cambridge police station.
Patch me up or what?
I don't know. Your prognosis looks pretty grim. Might be more humane to just take you out back and shoot you.
You're all heart, Doc.
Just quit squirming so I can get these bandages on. Sorry about the other guys.
Before checking in with Danse, we can get to know these other Brotherhood soldiers, starting with Scribe Haylen.
People are who they are.
I suppose so.
Apologies are meaningless to me.
Okay, I deserve that. But understand that their attitude comes from being jammed through the ringer for the last few months.
Guess I can't blame them. given how things are.
If you really feel that way, then give them a chance.
Why are you cutting me so much slack?
I'm a medic. Call it my bedside manner.
But if we pass the charisma check,
I joined the Brotherhood not too long ago. I used to be like you. Wandering alone. So I know what it feels like when every single person you bump into sticks a gun in your face. Look, it may not seem like it, but Danse is a good man. He's just all soldier. Protocol is his bread and butter. And Rhys? Well, let's just say he's as hard-headed as a Mr. Gutsy. But you know what? I trust both of them with my life. Because they're good people. And that's hard to come by nowadays.
next we can talk with Rhys, and Haylen has already primed us to expect him to be a bit brusque.
Think you're some kind of hotshot?
Why are you so angry with me?
I'm not angry. I'm just letting you know where you stand.
Whatever. I don't have time for this.
You better make time then. And learn your place.
You should pay attention. You might learn something.
Listen, smartass. I don't take advice from anyone except Top.
Sorry we got off on the wrong foot.
Oh, so now we're supposed to be best buddies. Well, guess what? I'm not interested in making friends. You're hired help. And that's all there is to it.
Is there any way to earn your respect?
Do what you're told. Keep your head down and your mouth shut.
If that's what you think.
Damn right it is.
Hired help or not, I got the job done.
Got some backbone. Good. You'll need it if you keep hanging with us.
I'll be certain to keep out of your way then.
You do that. Now why don't you run off and see if Top needs you to do anything else?
Ah, the Commonwealth. One big mess after the next.
Yes, my thoughts exactly, Codsworth. I wonder what kind of mess we've gotten ourselves into now. Exploring the place first, we see a terminal lying on a nearby desk, the Gladius Personnel Terminal. Inside we find 3 entries in the first. Recon Squad Gladius orders. Recon Squad Gladius's current orders are as follows. Proceed to the area designated as the Commonwealth to perform a standard long-range recon operation, LRRO. Report any unusual activity using standard long-range communications to Scabbard. Extraction time undetermined. Paladin Danse, DN 407P. In the next one, Paladin Danse personal logs, we find, oh god, wow, that's 7 entries there. In the first, January 2287. After several months, my squad has just crossed the border and entered the Commonwealth. We've chosen to immediately search the Boston region with the intention of finding a secure building to use as our recon headquarters. Soon after, my squad was ambushed by raiders. Night Keen's power armor was destroyed, and we lost some of our supplies. Fortunately, we were able to repel the attack and continue our mission. In the next one, log February 2287. We've discovered a secure building in Cambridge that appears to be a former police station. We were able to clear the building and recover a good deal of supplies and ammunition from pre-war caches inside. According to Scribe Haylen, this location is structurally sound and highly defensible. I've decided to establish our headquarters here for the time being. In the next one, April 2287. After Haylen identified the Corvega factory in Lexington as a possible site containing viable pre-war technology, we initiated a sweep and retrieve operation. I had Dawes do a site survey and he discovered it was being held by a large force of raiders. I gave the go-ahead and we attempted a breach. As we approached, our squad was hit with gunfire. Knight Warwick was wounded, so I decided to fall back to Cambridge. During our retreat, Knight Brock stepped on a landmine. Scribe Haylen attempted to treat him, but Brock succumbed to his wounds and died. Let it be noted for the record that Haylen is to be commended for her efforts. Later that month, April 2287, it's been 2 days since our failed operation at Corvega, and I'm sad to report that Knight Warwick has died. His gunshot wounds had left him paralyzed and internally bleeding. Scribe Haylen informed me that he was suffering and had less than 5% chance of recovery. I authorized her to inject him with an overdose of painkiller and put him to rest. I'd once again like to commend Scribe Haylen for her efforts in keeping Warwick alive and for following my final orders without question. In the next one, July 2287. We sustained another casualty today at grid reference A113. This area contains the ruins of Boston International Airport and Fort Strong. The airport was almost completely abandoned, but Fort Strong turned out to be infested by super mutants. We were hoping to resupply at the armory there, but Knight Sergeant Dawes was killed. This is the second location I've had to order a retreat from since we arrived, and the third member of my team to die. I recommend a complete bombardment of this location in the future. In the next one, October 2287, Scribe Haylen has been picking up unusual energy readings on her instruments. She claims that they are on an extreme high-band spectrum frequency, which makes it highly unlikely to be pre-war in origin. The readings are also highly sporadic, only appearing for very short amounts of time and in very specific locations. The decay on these signals is severe, and they seem to disappear off Haylen's instruments after several hours. We don't have the equipment necessary to track these readings, so we're attempting to use triangulation to discover their point of origin. And in the last one, later this month, October 2287, we've been attempting to contact Scabbard with the energy reading Haylen has collected, but the police station's high-gain antenna was damaged by a super mutant rocket attack, and we can't transmit the data. Haylen is attempting to repair the antenna, but she isn't certain that we have the parts we need at this time. And this is where we are in the timeline. We need to help them repair that antenna. Backing out of his personal logs, we can next read Gladius personnel status. Night Sergeant Dawes, status deceased. Night Rhys, status active. Night Keen, status deceased. He must have just died a moment ago. We found his body just outside. Night Brock, status deceased, as we read from Dance's logs. Night Warwick, status deceased. Again, we read this in the logs. And Scribe Haylen, status active. Backing out of the terminal, we can explore for more loot before checking in with Dance. Occasionally, Haylen and Rhys will stop to have brief banter. We can get to know a little bit more about them and the state of the Brotherhood by listening in.
How's security looking? We going to be able to hold out here?
This building's pretty solid. We should be safe enough.
Yeah. Unless a behemoth decides to pay us a visit.
Hey, if that happens, we won't last long enough to worry about it. I don't know what the hell's going on. If reinforcements are coming, they sure are taking their sweet time.
Hey, if Paladin Danse says they're coming, then they're coming. We just need to hold out a while longer.
I don't know, Haylen. We've lost half our squad already. Even with this new guy helping, I hope we can stay alive long enough for them to get here.
We'll make it, big guy. We'll make it.
Man, oh man, that was a hell of a fight, wasn't it? Watching those barrels get blown apart was the best thing I've seen in weeks.
Has anyone ever told you that you're a bloodthirsty maniac?
Has anyone ever told you that you have the cutest little smile when you try to get angry?
Nice try, Rhys. Nice try.
We see a hole in the northern wall, which leads to a room where we find a table with a holotape on it. Scribe Haylen's personal log.
Field Scribe Haylen, personal log entry 324A. I'm starting to wonder if joining the Brotherhood of Steel was a good choice. I originally signed up seeking protection and comradeship, but I'm worried that I've traded away a bit of my humanity in the process. The Brotherhood's message of hope for the future is idealistic and noble, but their methods leave a lot to be desired. The leadership seems especially misguided. Instead of diplomacy, they wield violent confrontation to exert control. Despite all that, I've been successfully avoiding the fighting by following the career path of a field scribe. I suppose only time will tell how long I can stand the sight of spilled blood over my own moral fiber.
Yikes. Poor Scribe Haylen. Sounds like she's not exactly a good fit for this Brotherhood of Steel. But can we trust her characterization of this order? Are they really as bloodthirsty as she describes? In this room, we find a small amount of scrap and a chem cooler with Psycho in it. But this room is a dead end, so heading out, we can turn right. We find a door to the right, which leads to a couple of vending machines that are mostly empty, and a staircase leading all the way up to rooftop access. Opening the door to Cambridge, we arrive on the roof, but the roof is in ruins. We find walls crumbling down. There's not a lot of loot that we can speak of. We see a vertibird landing pad here, but nothing else of note. So we can head back inside and move down the stairs to finish exploring the police station. On the front desk, we find an ammo box, a stim pack, and a pipe pistol, as well as some shotgun shells and fusion cells. Moving through the southern door, we can move behind the counter. Here we find an inactive distress pulsar. This is not useful to us, apart from scrap. There's a cap stash behind the counter. Then heading out, we can explore this office. Lots of ruined cabinets and desks, an empty bathroom. Moving into the office.
Why are you standing around here like there's nothing to do? Paladin Danse is waiting for you.
I'm looting the place. Come on. Wasteland scavenger here. In this office, we find an expert locked safe. Can't pick this yet, but if we could, inside we'd find fragmentation grenades, stim packs, a stealth boy, Radax, a fragmentation mine, some duct tape, and an Overdue Book. We can exchange these Overdue Books for caps at the Boston Library. That's about it for the main office, so heading out, we can continue to explore. This office is mostly empty. We find one chem cooler with dog food inside. Then moving west, we can turn right to head into the cells. The cells are empty, as are the containers here. We do find a human skeleton with bobby pins on the ground next to some handcuffs. Looks like when the bombs dropped, he was locked in here, and he tried to pick his way to freedom before he expired. There is a first aid box on a wall next to a closet with some scrap inside, and a chem cooler with Psycho and Buffout in it. That's it for this room, so heading out, we can move into the interrogation room. This is empty, and so moving out, we can head into interrogation observation. Here we find a terminal locked with a novice lock. It's the Cambridge Police Evidence Terminal. This terminal becomes pivotal during the Eddie Winter quest, which I covered in a video that you can watch here. But we can still go ahead and read it for the pre-war lore. After hacking the novice lock, we find 4 entries. Cambridge Police Evidence Terminal. Unauthorized users report directly to lockup. In the first one, Case 096-5E, Holbrook Sedition Logs. In 00, Object, one statement of Mr. N. Fredericks, President, Cambridge S&L. Status, transferred to Federal Officer J. Dobson. 01. Object, one pamphlet, Your Rights at Work, recovered from suspect's desk, Cambridge S&L. Status, transferred to Federal Officer J. Dobson. Number 2, object, one pamphlet, Unionize Today, recovered from subject's desk, Cambridge S&L. Status, transferred to Federal Officer J. Dobson. Yikes. Was it criminal to be pro-union in this universe? Looks that way. And the next one, Case 13-8PI, Adams Public Intoxication Logs. 00, object, one set of clothes abandoned at scene. Status, in Cambridge Police Evidence Lockup, SO3, B11. Abandoned at scene? So the drunk was naked? Oh no. Was this the skeleton we found in the cell with the bobby pins? He was locked in there during the bombs and he was naked? Poor guy. Evidence 01, object, 2 bottles of platinum inebriator beverage. Status, transferred to trash. This is the first time I've heard of the platinum inebriator in the Fallout universe. Sounds kind of tasty. And the next one, Case 155H, Winter Holotape Logs. And this updates the map, giving us the location of the Boston BADTFL, useful during the Eddie Winter quest. Log entry 00, object holotape 00, status, returned to Agent Mitchell, Boston BADTFL, October 6th, 2077. Log entry 02, object holotape 2, status, mailed to Sergeant Sulzbach, Malden PD. Interesting that we skipped from log entry and holotape 00 to log entry and holotape 02. I wonder what happened to 01. In the last one, Case 772-RE, Nielsen Reckless Endangerment Logs. Log entry 00, object, 2 spools of 200-foot copper cable. Status, in Cambridge Police Evidence, SO1A28. Log entry 01, object, 3 Fission PAL home nuclear reactors. Status, transferred to Hazardous Materials Disposal Unit. Log entry 02, object, 1 bag containing remains of TGM home stereo system. Status, in Cambridge Police Evidence, SO1-A29. 3 personal home nuclear reactors, reckless endangerment indeed. Backing out of the terminal, we find a holotape lying on a shelf in this room.
Hello, team. Captain Whitmark here. Welcome to the task force. Operation Winter's End starts now, with you. Together, we will knock Eddie Winter off his throne and dump his sorry ass in a 2,000-volt easy chair. It should come as a surprise to no one that our operations in Boston have been, in a word, compromised. Winter has eyes everywhere, even the BPD. So, our brothers across the river in Cambridge have been kind enough to let us use the Cambridge Police Department as our base of operations. Let's get to work. Good hunting.
Another holotape related to the quest on Eddie Winter. On this shelf, we find a cap stash, some drugs in a bin at the bottom, a wooden crate with Radaway in it, and then a shelf with all sorts of goodies, an ammo box, some .38 caliber rounds, a stim pack, and scrap. In the lockers, we find some clothing, some jet, ammunition, and Molotov cocktails in a duffel bag, sunglasses, handcuffs, military fatigues, and buff out. There's a cooler on a pushcart, and that's it for this room. So heading out, we can move through a southern door and down a staircase to find a cabinet at the foot of the staircase with scrap and a door which leads outside to the motor pool. Inside the motor pool, we find scrap to the right with a cap stash on a shelf above, more ammunition on a shelf next to this, a power armor repair station, and a button that opens the garage door, which lets us back outside. But we need to finish talking to Paladin Danse, so heading back inside, we can climb the stairs and track him down.
Excuse me, Paladin Danse?
You ready to move out?
Why establish an outpost at the police station?
Given the nature of the facility, we felt it would be tactically advantageous to search it for weapons and ammunition. The radio tower on the roof was an unexpected boon, but it obviously has its shortcomings that need to be rectified. It might not be as imposing as the Citadel back in the capital wasteland, but it suits our purposes. That's all I'm willing to divulge at this point. Are you ready to proceed with the mission?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I need you to do whatever it takes to be combat ready. Gather anything you need from the police station so we can be on our way.
Not yet.
Get yourself together. We've got a job to do.
Ready?
Outstanding. Follow me, and try not to lag behind.
With that, he puts on his helmet. Oh yeah, loving that animation. Paladin Danse moves from behind the counter and out the door. Once outside, Danse turns left and moves down an alley.
We'll take this alley. Follow me.
At the end of the alley, we arrive at the road, and Danse tells us more about the mission.
ArcJet is a short hike to the west. If we take this road, we should be able to avoid the larger packs of ferals infesting Cambridge. Traveling this far from the police station is a risk, but getting that transmitter up and running needs to be our top priority. If it was up to me, I'd relocate my team. But Scribe Haylen detected some disturbing energy readings in the area that need to be investigated. We don't know much about them, except that they're short-lived and broadcast on a frequency only attainable with a high level of technology. We're concerned that whoever or whatever is creating those energy readings might be a potential threat. So it's our job to investigate.
We continue moving west. We pass by some Pulowski preservation shelters to the right until we find a group of raiders hiding under a bridge. The raiders had killed a traveling pack Brahmin and the merchants escorting her. But Danse powers on.
It might surprise you to learn that my recon team isn't the first to visit the Commonwealth. Over the last 7 years, 2 other teams were sent here by the Brotherhood to gather technology. The first team's mission was a huge success. They came back with crates full of pre-war artifacts and historical documents. The second wasn't so fortunate. Shortly after they arrived, we lost contact with them. They haven't been heard from since. As far as my team goes, we've lost 4 good men to this godforsaken wasteland. We've been a target from the moment we arrived. But despite our setbacks, I don't intend to give up and head home, or end up missing. Safety's off! Fire!
I covered the story of at least one of those past recon teams Danse was talking about in my video, The Lost Patrol, that you can watch here. Danse continues climbing up a hill until a large building looms before us. But first we gotta kill some dogs.
For honor! Weapons cold!
With the mongrels dead, we crest the hill, and Danse brings us closer to the large structure.
There it is, ArcJet Systems. There shouldn't be any exterior security, so we'll head in through the front.
He's right. Moving forward, we discover ArcJet Systems, and we don't come under fire by turrets or robots. Danse moves up to the door and waits for us here. We can use the opportunity to examine the parking lot. We find a guard pod near to the parking lot, but there's nothing inside except for a cooler. The parking lot is completely empty. We find a statue of a Stingray Deluxe on a pedestal just outside the building. These look a lot like the jets we saw in the mural inside the Museum of Freedom. There is a plaque outside, but we can't read it. Hiding behind the Stingray is a stim pack and a cap stash. When ready, we can head back to Danse, waiting for us by the door.
Listen up. We do this clean and quiet. No heroics and by the book. Understood?
Why are we at ArcJet again?
We're here to retrieve a device that will boost the signal from the radio tower at the Cambridge police station. Without it, we can't make contact with our superiors.
Let's hurry this up.
I don't plan on rushing through the facility without extreme caution. Contrary to what you might believe, I'd like you to remain alive during the course of our mission.
This isn't my first rodeo.
I understand that. I'm simply offering valuable tactical advice. You'd do well to listen.
Understood.
Outstanding. Remember, our primary target is the deep-range transmitter. Stay focused and check your fire. I don't want to be hit by stray bullets.
And with that, Danse turns towards the door and enters ArcJet. We can follow behind. We arrive in a well-lit, ruined foyer.
It was corporations like this that put the last nail in the coffin for mankind. They exploited technology for their own gains, pocketing the cash and ignoring the damage they'd done.
Danse moves quickly into the next room. I kind of wanted to explore, but we'll follow him for now.
Look at these wrecks. It appears as though the facility's automated security's already been dealt with.
I see that.
Damn it, I was hoping to avoid this.
Is this the Brotherhood of Steel's handiwork?
Unfortunately, no.
Looks like we missed the party.
You're making a foolishly hasty assessment.
Good. Less security to worry about.
Negative. There's nothing good about it. Look at the evidence. There isn't a single spent ammunition casing or drop of blood in sight. These robots were assaulted by Institute synths.
Synth? Isn't that the same as robot?
They're an abuse of technology created by the Institute. Abominations meant to improve upon humanity. It's unacceptable. They simply can't be allowed to exist.
What's the Institute?
They're a group of scientists who went underground when the Great War started. Spent the last few decades littering the Commonwealth with their technological nightmares.
It sounds like you're scared of synths.
There's a measurable difference between being frightened and being prepared. Now, let's move out.
I'll be on the lookout.
Roger that. Let's move out.
Well, we've just learned about Institute synths, whatever they are. We find a terminal here, a security terminal, accessing it. ArcJet Systems, ArcNet, Security Office, Terminal 2. We find 5 entries. In the first, security concerns, from Thomas Reinhardt, CEO, to all security personnel. I'd like to have your team get together and implement a new security strategy for the ArcJet complex. This is our first contract for the USSA, and I don't intend to have any security slip-ups while we're working on the XMB booster engine. I want you to double the coverage 24 hours a day and install automated countermeasures inside the facility. I'd also like you to hire a consultant to figure out a better security password system for our terminals. The automated reset timer mailing out passwords is ridiculous. I wonder if that means we'll be able to access some of these terminals later. In the next one, turrets. From Sam Brandt, security lead, to all ArcJet employees. Starting tomorrow, we'll begin distributing identification badges to all employees. These badges must be worn at all times. They are infused with a low-yield radioactive isotope that will prevent our internal security turrets from accidentally shooting any of our own employees. If anyone is caught near the entrance to the engine core without a badge, we are not liable for the injuries you may sustain. The turrets will go online in 1 week, so I suggest you sign up for your badge as soon as possible. Oh man, God forbid an employee, be human and make a mistake one day, arrive to work without a badge, penalty, death. In the next one, engine core accident. From Thomas Reinhardt, CEO, to Sam Brandt, security lead. Sam, what the hell is going on down there? How did a member of the press get all the way past security, through the entire research facility, and into the engine core without tripping our alarms or turrets? We have a real mess on our hands, and it's going to be your job to clean it up. I don't care how you do it, just make it all go away. If this comes back to bite us, I swear, you're going to be the one that takes the fall. Oh no! After all that, the isotope and the badges, the new turrets, the new password system, a reporter managed to sneak in? Backing out, we do find Protectron control, but the unit is damaged or destroyed. Yeah, we find the wreckage over here. Something, these Institute synths presumably, destroyed all these Protectrons. Turning around, we can go back to the foyer. We see a room through these windows, but we don't have access to it just yet. A floor above has fallen down and blocked our way into it. So back to the room we can explore. We find a pipe pistol on a countertop, a couple of empty containers, and that's it. So heading back into the room, we can return to Paladin Danse.
This place is a mess, but I still see a few pieces of salvage that the Brotherhood might be interested in. After we're done here, I'll have to mark this place for sweep and retrieve.
Yeah, not unless I can get to it first, Danse. He continues forward, turns right, and enters another room.
Looks like a dead end. See if you can find a way to get that door open. I'm gonna reconnoiter the area.
Danse moves forward to reconnoiter the area, but we can turn around and loot the room that we walked through. We find a bathroom that he passed, or rather it's a bathroom/mop room. There's one urinal and a pegboard in here, nothing else of interest. The hallway to the north is filled in with rubble. The room we passed through was an office room, a lot of empty desks and canisters, nothing of interest. So wow, this was really a waste of our time. Heading back to Danse in the large room, we now got to figure out how to open this door. Before we do, we can read some of the terminals here. We find a lab analyst's terminal on a desk. Prototype testing lab, analyst workstation number 3. Reminder, password security. From Sam Brandt, security lead, to all staff. This is your annual reminder that all terminal and mainframe passwords are to be changed on a monthly basis. Failure to do so may result in automated changes, the suspension of network privileges, and/or disciplinary action. Please do your part in keeping ArcJet Systems secure. In the next one, automated password change. Automated password change notice. According to our records, your terminal password has not been changed in 3 months. For security purposes, your password will now be reset. Your new password is 9YB3N. This is an automated message. Please do not reply. And with that, we get the password added to our inventory. Wow, that security system is bulletproof. Looks like they never hired that consultant, or the bombs dropped before they could if this system is still in place. Well, now we've got the password to the main terminal. We can try to explore this room a bit, but there is really nothing here. Heading to the workstation in the middle of the room, we find a holotape lying on the desk. Discarded ArcJet work log. We can play it in our Pip-Boy.
Why the heck are they making us record this? Oh crap, it's on, isn't it? This is Technician Rand, ArcJet Propulsion Division. I'm here with Technician Janowski, work log A1190. Janowski and I have been working on the Mars Shot project for about 3 months now, and I think we have the thrust calculations worked out.
Man, I wish I was headed up there with those guys. It'd be nice to get the hell away from our lousy planet.
Hey, easy. If we don't record these logs properly, we're gonna get fired. The supervisor is already itching to get rid of us, especially since it's taking us longer than we promised.
So what? We've been drafted anyway. We're shipping out in a few weeks, remember? Soon we'll be doing push-ups, eating freeze-dried rations, and just wishing we were spending our day inside a cushy private laboratory.
Of course I remember, but I'm trying not to imagine getting my head blown off when I'm on the front line, and keeping my mind on work is helping me deal with the problem. Maybe that doesn't make sense to you, but it's important to me, okay?
All right, I'm sorry. Look, why don't you toss this tape and we'll start a new one.
Looks like they didn't have time to properly dispose of the tape before the end of the world, and looks like they never had to serve in the armed forces. Using the password, we can now access the lab control terminal, whereupon we find 2 options. In the first, lab controls, accessing prototype interlink error, unable to establish a connection to the prototype. Please contact a technician for assistance. So instead we can back out and open the security door.
Nice one. Hello? Let's get moving.
Hello! Fancy a bit.
As soon as the door opens, we get attacked by Institute synths.
ArcJet is still detected.
Well, I mean, Nate was right. They are robots, but way fancier than Codsworth here. These actually look somewhat humanoid. But before we can pause for a breath, Danse moves into the next room and starts firing. Racing in after him.
Target, take him down!
Victim of violence. Offline.
Light him up!
Is inevitable.
Contact lost.
It is but a scratch! You call this a fight?
I must end your existence.
Knowing weapons cold. Where'd they go? Think
I
you're clever?
regret any suffering you may incur.
Mission accomplished.
Oh, well, the synths are finally destroyed, but Danse just keeps charging forward. Come on, man, take a break. I want to loot. Heading downstairs, we can loot the bodies on this level. We see Danse move through a doorway. He just keeps on going.
Damn synths have compromised most of the facility.
But then he stops. Okay, we'll try to catch up with him in a minute. Heading back to the first room where we encountered synths, we can loot all of the bodies, and we walk away with a bunch of Institute pistols and rifles. Aside from the laser weapon we found on Keen's body, this is really our first encounter with laser weapons. In my opinion, the Institute weapons are inferior to the pre-war ones, but they come in handy for now. We can examine all the rooms on this lower level, but they're empty. Moving up to the top level and turning right, we find a laser tripwire on the ground. Disarming it, we see that it was connected to a Tesla arc trap, which we can also disarm to get some fusion cells. In this room, we find an expert-locked lab terminal on a desk. We can't hack this, but if we could, inside, we read ArcJet Research and Development Lab 5. We find 4 options and safe control. In the first, XMB Fuel Mixture 1, I'm still trying to convince Dr. McClellan that switching from uranium to deuterium will yield a much higher burn-to-thrust ratio. He's concerned that the deuterium refinement will add a few months to the XMB booster's schedule, but my gut says it's worth the risk. I know that Reinhardt has us all working 7 days a week on the project as it is, but I don't mind putting in the extra time if it means the booster's efficiency is improved. In the next one, XMB Fuel Mixture number 2. Well, I did the best I could. I showed my demonstration to Dr. McClellan, and he was impressed. He took my notes directly to the board and asked for a project extension, but Reinhardt said no. I don't understand why it all comes down to money. We're sending a couple of men to Mars, and we want them to get there as safely and efficiently as possible. All those bastards care about is the fact that 3 more months on the schedule will cost them a few $1 million. And frankly, I'm getting sick of the bottom line dictating what we do in the laboratory. After we wrap this project, I'm gonna go look for work somewhere else. In the next one, Lab Report, Deep Range Transmitter 1. This is what we came here looking for. Now that the fuel issue's been settled, I've been moved off of the XMB booster and onto the Deep Range Transmitter. Frankly, I think they're just pulling me off of the propulsion system because I'm the only one stupid enough to complain when things go wrong. So, instead of tweaking fuel mixtures and thermodynamics calculations, they have me fine-tuning one of our glorified radios. So glad I'm wasting my nuclear physics degree on that. My task is to increase the broadcast range on the DRT by at least 50% by the end of the month. Should be a piece of cake. And in the last one, Deep Range Transmitter number 2. Only took me 3 weeks, but I've got the DRT's broadcast radius boosted by over 70%. With one of these beauties installed on the NSSA's ship, they should be able to ping a signal back and forth within 10 minutes. Now all I have to do is get the unit sized down by about half so it fits inside the required volume, and I'll be finished. I hope they move me back to something more interesting after this. So the deep range transmitter we are going to get was supposed to be used on a rocket being sent to Mars. Yeah, I think it'll be able to go from Boston to the capital wasteland just fine. Backing out, we can activate safe control to unlock this expert-locked safe. But again, I couldn't do that, so I'm not taking any of this. There's a chemistry station here, a novice-locked toolbox, which I can pick, so we'll get those goodies, yay. And then a door to the right that leads to a balcony overlooking the room we just left. So retracing our steps, we can head back to the top of the ramp and move through the southern door. Here we find an armor workbench, a weapon workbench, a couple of containers, and then a door leading north. There's nothing else on this balcony. So moving through the eastern door, we find a little bit of scrap, and then we can climb down a ramp. Beneath the ramp is a small room. We find an ammo box under a shelf, a stealth boy on the shelf, and then we find some toys laid out in a curious pose. It's an alien riding a rocket ship. But then we hear Danse talking.
Remain vigilant. We've got turrets ahead.
Oh, crap. He tripped some sort of security system. Oh, no. We gotta race up the staircase to see if we can find him. Oh, there he goes. Where you going, Danse? Come on, wait for us. He keeps going forward by himself, and we can sneak behind him to try and help.
Tango down.
Oh, but he manages to get rid of the turrets all by himself.
No prisoners.
Oh, spoke too soon.
All around.
Any more?
Picking up hostile.
Yeah.
Nothing like a little dust up to get the oil flowing, eh?
Oh, that's the last turret. But Danse doesn't wait. He moves down the hallway and then down some stairs. But then he waits. I'm hoping he waits there. Let's backtrack a bit because we passed a lot. Okay, back to the room with the toys on display. We can turn right to see what we missed. There's a novice-locked door in this wall connecting to the room where we had the big fight with the synths. There's not much else in this room scrap-wise. Continuing through the door to the north, we find a staircase going up. Our path before us is blocked. This leads to another room with a terminal. And next to the terminal is a copy of Tesla Science.
Hell yeah.
Tesla Science Magazine. Will robots rule the world? You've collected an issue of Tesla Science. Energy weapons permanently inflict 5% critical damage. All right. The terminal here is the CEO's terminal. Oh, we stumbled upon his office. And here we find 9 terminal entries. ArcJet Systems, Thomas Reinhardt's private terminal. In the first one, Mars Shot Project notes, August 2075. After 6 months, the United States Space Administration finally approved ArcJet as the contractor for the Mars Shot Project's propulsion and communication systems. Having my team start working on the XMB booster before we secured the contract was a gamble, but it looks like it's going to pay off big. We have a lot of details to hash out with the agency, and we have a lot of work ahead of us, but I think this contract will finally put ArcJet on the map. Next, September 2075. I was fortunate to be able to add Dr. Rory McClellan to the XMB booster team today. There are few people who can match Dr. McClellan's aptitude with nuclear propulsion systems, so this truly was a coup. It cost the company a heck of a lot of money to hire him away from his military contracting job, but I'm sure it'll be well worth every dollar. We've promised the USSA that the booster would be ready at least a year before their July 2078 launch date. With Dr. McClellan at the helm, we should be able to meet the deadline with time to spare. In the next one, December 2075. As the holiday season approaches, it's time to take a step back and look at everything that's happened to ArcJet Systems this year. 5 months ago, my company was struggling to make ends meet. Now, with the XMB booster and the deep-range transmitter projects in full swing, ArcJet appears to have received a second chance. Thanks to Dr. McClellan, we're on schedule and under budget. The USSA is thrilled with our progress and is already talking to me about future contracts after we deliver. I don't think it's possible to be ending the year on a better note. In the next one, March 2076. Dr. McClellan's informed me that we have a problem with the XMB booster. The USSA is demanding that the engine can't exceed their strict weight allowance, but thanks to the uranium refinement subsystem, we're a few hundred tons over. We're now 1 month behind schedule, and I'm frankly starting to panic. Dr. McClellan assures me he'll find a solution soon, but that isn't helping me get to sleep at night. Oh dear. In the next one, July 2076. The USSA has started their public relations campaign for the Mars Shot Project, and ArcJet Systems is finding itself caught right in the middle. In the last week, I think I've fielded 15 separate interviews with everyone asking the same questions over and over again. They all want to know when we're delivering the XMB booster so they can take their pretty pictures of the USSA test firing it for the first time. and all I can do is keep smiling and lying through my teeth that the XMB will be delivered when it's ready. I hope Dr. McClellan solves our weight problem soon, or we're never going to get a contract from the USSA ever again. In the next one, November 2076. I can't believe it, but Dr. McClellan's team finally solved the XMB's weight problem. Now all we need to do is finish tightening a few screws and hoist the thing up into the engine core. If we're lucky, we'll be able to test fire the booster right after the new year. It's funny how things seem so bleak and chaotic during the year, but it all comes together for us just in time for the holidays. Sounds almost like producing a video game on schedule. In the next one, February 2077. We've scheduled a photo opportunity tomorrow for the XMB booster's first test firing in the engine core. We're going to stick them all down in the control room and let them shoot their pictures through the thermoglass window after Dr. McClellan gives them a short explanation of how the booster works. The engine puts out a hell of a lot of thrust, so it should be quite a spectacular show. In the next one, March 2077. It's been 2 weeks since the accident before the XMB booster's test firing event. Somehow, a photographer managed to wander past security and into the engine core a few hours early. Dr. McClellan was running a quick test on the booster, letting it run for only a few seconds to make sure it was ready for the demonstration, and burned the photographer into ash. Thank God no one else saw what happened. I'm having Brent take care of the remains. After all, that's why I hired him. If word of this accident goes public, we'll be shut down, and I may as well put a for sale sign out front. So that's what happened to the photographer. Still no idea how he managed to get inside with all that high-tech security. And in the last one, September 2077, a month before the bombs dropped. All of the unrest overseas is making the USSA nervous about proceeding with the Mars Shot project. They're telling me they may have to delay a year or more, depending on what happens. If that's true, we'll just have to make do with the proceeds from the deep-range transmitter contract, which we've already completed. I'm trying to keep everyone's spirits up around here, but it's getting harder and harder with the world falling apart around us. Hopefully, our government will work things out, and we can all get back to work. Sadly, that hope was misplaced. Backing out of the CEO's terminal, we find an advance-locked wall safe. I can't hack it, but if we could, inside we would find bottle caps, ammunition, a pipe pistol, and a Raider right arm. Raider armor in a pre-war safe. Was someone complaining about Jet locked in pre-war containers? Anyway, continuing forward, we move north through a door. We see a door to the west and a path to the east. Going west first, we arrive in a server room. Here we find a novice-locked repair department terminal. After hacking it, we find 4 entries and turret control. In the first, Repair Order 100, installed new terminal in Reinhardt's office. He's demanding some serious security on it now that we've got the Mars Shot contract. I'm not sure if he's being paranoid or if he's got a real reason to worry. I'll set him up with the best we've got for now. But it wasn't even locked when we found it. In the next one, 112... Okay, now I'm convinced Reinhardt is paranoid. He's had me put in automated security turrets in the main hallway outside his office. You'd think we were working for the military instead of just the United States Space Administration. In the next one, 115, got McClellan constantly bugging me that the mainframe keeps running out of space. I've ordered some more storage from our supplier, but we're rapidly running out of room down here for any more consoles. I might have to talk to Reinhardt into letting us spill over into the office sections. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, so that's why we found a server room right outside the CEO's office. In the last one, 122, Brent came down and had me pull all of the video surveillance records from the mainframe from last month. I asked him if he wanted me to just make him backups, but he just grunted like he always does and demanded the originals. I have no idea what he's doing with them, and I don't want to know. As long as I keep getting a paycheck, I could care less. Well, we know what he wanted. He wanted video footage of that reporter getting incinerated by the XMB booster. In the last one, we find turret control, and if any of the turrets were still active, we could have turned them off with this, but they're destroyed. Exploring the server room, we find a little bit of scrap, but that's it. Opening a door to the east, we see this goes back out to the hallway where we fought the turrets earlier. We don't need to go out there yet, so retracing our steps, we can see if we missed anything this way. Sure enough, turning right, we find a ramp that leads down a floor, and at the end, we find a novice-locked box safe. Inside is ammunition and a 10mm pistol. Back up the ramp, we can now move down the hallway to the north. Immediately to the right is another office. The desks and terminals are all ruined. We don't find anything of interest here, except for a bottle of Nuka-Cola on one of the desks. Out to the hallway, we continue north. There's the door, back to the server room. Continuing north, we find a closed door to the right. This leads to a meeting room. We see the ArcJet logo proudly on display on the wall, and an Overdue Book lying on the table. Back to the hallway, we can turn right to go into the men's restroom. The urinals are empty, but in one of the stalls, we find a bobby pin box. There's a hole in the wall leading to the women's restroom. The stalls are empty, there's a couch in here, and hand bones in the sink. There's a bar of soap here and 3 hand bones in here? Why is there a collection of hand bones in a sink? After looting some bobby pins from a mirror, we see a sign on the wall. Notice, employees must wash hands before returning to work. Oh God, really? This is a dad joke? Employees must wash hands? Thanks, Bethesda. Hilarious. Back out to the hallway. We move north. There are 2 doors to the right and a door to the left. The door directly in front of us leads to a storage room. Here we find an ammo box and some scrap. The doors to the left are all blocked in with rubble, so we can move north. We see a ramp leading down, but if we sneak behind it, we find an elevator shaft with an elevator car askew below it. We can open a hatch in the top of the elevator car to leap down and find a skeleton lying on top of smeared, dried, aged blood. There's some mentats here, and empty bottles of Nuka-Cola. Heading out of the car, we find a door to the right leading to that room that we saw upon first entering ArcJet. There's the foyer just out front. We find a reception terminal here locked with a novice lock. After hacking it, we find 2 options. In the first, ArcNet mail floor safe from Sam Brandt, security lead, to front reception. As requested, I've had a floor safe installed in the front office area. This should allow you to pay for any incoming deliveries or store valuables until they can be transferred to a more secure location. Let me know if you have any issues with the safe or the locking mechanism. Backing out, we can read ArcNet Mail Press. From Thomas Reinhardt, CEO, to all reception area employees. I realize that our announcement regarding the Mars Shot project has caused quite a lot of excitement with the national media. If any members of the press are requesting statements or interviews, please direct them to our Public Relations Department. Do not attempt to answer any questions or give any information regarding the project unless pre-authorization has been provided. Backing out of the terminal, we can try to find this floor safe, and there it is, but it's locked with an advanced lock. I can't hack it, but if we could, inside we would find a variety of ammunition, a 10mm pistol, and some scrap. That's it for this room, so heading back out, we see the ramp to the right that we would have gone down had we not snuck behind the ramp and gone down the elevator instead. That leaves one path forward. That's to move east and head down the ramp to join Paladin Danse.
Engine cores ahead. Should be our final stop.
He heads through the door, and we can join him in the ArcJet engine core. We move forward, and Danse gives us a warning.
Watch your footing. Looks like the power's out in this section.
The staircase to the left is blocked. Continuing forward.
Look at this place. Scribes would have a field day in here.
We arrive on a catwalk overlooking a large chamber with the XMB booster rocket engine still hoisted above the room.
The transmitter should be in the control room at the top of the core, but it looks like the elevators are dead. We'll have to keep heading down for now and find a way to get the facility's power back online.
Continuing down.
There has to be a power backup system somewhere. Scout the maintenance area off of the main chamber. I'll remain here and watch our backs.
All right, we need to restore power somehow. This room is absolutely huge. Heading back up the catwalk to see if there was anything we missed. We can't access this elevator. We see another catwalk on the opposite end, but we can't leap to there.
Ouch!
We'll have to figure out how to get there later. Our only option right now is to head through the security door to the west. This leads to a hallway which brings us to a room bathed in red light. And lying on a table in the middle of the room is the junk jet. And next to the junk jet is a technician's personal log.
Jeering, leering, laughing, mocking, taunting.
Oh, he graduated all right from high school. It's fine, I'm sure he took shop class. Oh look, he's reading the science mags. How cute.
Har har har. Shop class. Let's see them make this in shop class. My marvel of engineering. The finest in weaponized refuse acceleration. My beauty. My junk jet. They'll see. The engineers with their suits and fancy degrees. Come Monday morning, they'll all see.
Hell yeah.
With that, we get the junk jet, made by a mad scientist. And I mean mad in the angry way, not crazed way. The junk jet, of course, is reminiscent of the rocket launcher that we find in Fallout 3. I remember the rocket launcher being a bit more fun and easier to use at the time, but perhaps my memory is biased by nostalgia. This junk jet is fun because instead of using ammunition, it sifts through all of your junk and uses it as ammunition. But it doesn't matter what kind of junk you have, it still has a base damage of 40. The way it works is when you reload, the game pauses and opens up an inventory transfer dialog box. You then select which pieces of junk you want to put into the junk jet. And you can theoretically put as much junk as you want into the junk jet. You can put in single items or an entire stack of items. The junk jet will then fire these items at your enemies, and it'll go through them in the order that you put them into the junk jet. And when it reaches a stack, it'll go through the entire stack of stuff before moving on to the next item. One of the nice things about this is ammunition is plentiful. There's junk all over, and theoretically, you never run out of ammo because you can always run over and pick up the junk that you fired at your enemy. However, in practice, the gun glitches out some of the time. In this example, one of the beer bottles is hovering mid-air after firing it at an enemy. We can't interact with it after this, so that piece of junk is essentially lost. Since junk is so heavy in Fallout 4, it's really an impractical weapon, unless you stock up on pre-war money. Pre-war money has a weight of 0, and it stacks, keeping your inventory clean. Each piece of pre-war money can be used as ammunition, and it has the exact same damage as if you were to load this thing with, a billiard ball, a teddy bear, or any other piece of scrap. It's a fun, quirky weapon, even if I don't plan to use it that much. Turning around, we find the engine start button, but pushing it...
Warning. Power loss detected. Engine core is offline.
All right, we need to activate power. Turning around, we find a fusion generator here, like the one we saw in the Museum of Freedom. There's a novice-locked toolbox here on a shelf. Inside, we find some scrap. And we can loot the fusion core from the fusion engine. Hopefully, we'll still be able to restore power. We see a terminal connected to a fuse box, connected to a red wire that appears to go back into the room we came from. This facilities terminal is locked with a novice lock. After hacking it, we read engine core facilities room. Main power off, auxiliary generators off. Alert! The engine core is operating on emergency power. To conserve energy, all non-critical systems and operations have been suspended. We could access power options. Power options, start auxiliary generators. Okay, we can start auxiliary generators. Accessing auxiliary generators complete. Rerouting power from auxiliary generators. Verifying grid integrity complete. Power has been restored. Okay, well, that was easy.
Engine core power restored.
We may have a problem here.
Thermal engine fueled, primed, and standing by for your command.
But as soon as we restore power, we hear that Paladin Danse has come under fire. Oh no! We've got two options here. We could race into the room with our gun drawn and help Paladin Danse.
That'll even get... Stop that!
Looks like we've secured the core. Let's head up to the control room.
With that, we saved Danse and we killed a lot of synths in the process. That's a lot of fusion cells to loot. Or, now that power is restored, we could have taken a cue from the story we read from the terminals and started the engine with Danse and the synths inside.
Command accepted. Commencing 5-second countdown. 5. 4. firing completed with an efficiency rating of 96.7%.
With that, the engine ignites after all this time, instantly destroying the synths. When the test ends, we can run inside to see if Danse is okay.
Oh my god, are you alright? Got cooked by those flames. But thanks to my power armor, I'm still in one piece. The important thing is that we're still alive. We have a way to get to the transmitter. Let's go.
And miraculously, Danse survives a blast from a rocket engine designed to send people to Mars. I'm gonna remember this the next time someone tries to take me down with a flamer while I'm wearing power armor. And then I'll get a bit bitter. After looting all of the bodies, we can activate the elevator against the southern wall. Heading inside, Danse and Codsworth joins us. It takes us up to the catwalk. We find ourselves on the section of the catwalk that we couldn't jump to earlier. We can follow this up the stairs, but we see an alarm has been triggered. More synths have appeared in the control room.
You're done.
I hope that's the last of them. Damn it. I don't see the device anywhere. Fan out and check the synth remains. They may have been after the transmitter as well.
Looks like the synths came here for the same thing. What would the Institute need a deep-range transmitter for?
Careful not to trip over any loose parts, sir.
After sifting through the bodies, we eventually find the deep-range transmitter.
Let's get out of here. We'll take the service elevator to the surface.
It's a small, box-like device. Looks like the scientist whose logs we read on that terminal was able to eventually make it really small. With the transmitter in hand, we can loot the rest of the synth bodies and then explore this room for loot and lore. We find a lot of scrap. There's a red steamer trunk on the ground with ammunition, throwables, and pipe pistols inside. And next to it, in the middle of the room, is the engine core control terminal. Engine core, central control, current engine, thermal engine prototype G12. Engine status ready. We can try to begin test fire. Connecting to engine core control systems failed. A fault has been detected in relay blah 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 blah. Please contact the engine core facility supervisor for repairs. Manual operation may still be possible from the facility's office on the lower level. Backing out of the terminal, we can do one final sweep of the room for any more loot and lore, but all we find is a first aid kit on the wall next to the elevator door that we need to use to get out of here. Heading inside, we can take the elevator up until we emerge from a small bunker. Danse runs off ahead.
The bunker looks clear. Let's move out.
We can loot the bunker. We find a skeleton next to a shipping container surrounded by vodka bottles, empty tin cans, and a pipe pistol. This guy ate some beans, got drunk on vodka, and ended himself. Yikes. There's a first aid kit hiding behind here, and then heading out, we see that we're behind ArcJet Systems, and Paladin Danse is waiting for us.
Danse?
Well, that could have gone smoother, but mission accomplished.
Smoother? I thought we did fine.
We're both alive and the transmitter's been secured. There's no need to scrutinize the details.
Or if we pass the check.
That sweep was sloppy. We were caught unprepared more than once, which is unacceptable. However, your extra gun gave us the edge we needed. I'm not certain I could have accomplished the mission alone.
I suppose that's it then.
Not necessarily.
I don't need an evaluation.
Accepting constructive criticism is the best way to improve ourselves, both physically and mentally. However, this doesn't diminish your role in the operation. Without your assistance, it could have been in jeopardy.
I thought we worked well as a team.
Agreed. It's a refreshing change to work with a civilian who can follow orders properly. That being said, I believe we have two important matters to discuss. First and foremost, if you'll hand me the deep-range transmitter, I'd like to compensate you for your assistance during this operation. I think you'll find this weapon useful. It's my own personal modification of the standard Brotherhood laser rifle. May it serve you well in battle.
With that, he gives us Righteous Authority. It's a legendary laser rifle, and its critical shots do double damage, while the critical meter fills 15% faster. It's essentially the same legendary effect as the Lucky legendary effect that we can find randomly generated on other legendary items in the game. Other than that, it's a standard laser rifle, doing 31 base damage, and we can upgrade it with all available laser rifle mods.
Don't you need to keep it?
This isn't the only weapon at my disposal. Brotherhood soldiers always carry a backup.
Thank you.
You're welcome, civilian.
A rifle? That can't be the best you've got.
It's all I can spare at the moment. You should learn to be a bit more thankful about what you receive.
That isn't necessary.
I insist you keep it. The Brotherhood believes in paying all of its debts. Now, as far as the second matter goes, I wanted to make you a proposal. We had a lot thrown at us back there. Our op could have ended in disaster, but you kept your cool and handled it like a soldier. There's no doubt in my mind that you've got what it takes. The way I see it, you've got a choice. You could spend the rest of your life wandering from place to place, trading an extra hand for a meager reward. Or, you could join the Brotherhood of Steel and make your mark on the world. So, what do you say?
What would be expected of me if I joined?
You'd be under my command, and I'd expect you to follow orders. No more mercenary work. This is the real thing. You'd have access to advanced military weapons, as well as your own personal suit of power armor. Most importantly, you'd have the Brotherhood at your back, ready to spill its own blood to keep you alive. Offer still stands. Can we count on you?
No. I need to move on.
I'm afraid we have our own mission to fulfill, Paladin Danse. One of great importance.
That's a shame. Well, if you change your mind, you know where to find us. Good luck to you.
I'd be honored to join.
Surely with their resources, we'll be able to find young Sean.
That's what I wanted to hear. Meet me back at the police station, and we'll discuss the details.
With that, Paladin Danse walks into a bulldozer. He gets stuck for a bit. We complete the quest, call to arms, and begin the quest Semper Invicta, return to the Cambridge police station. Paladin Danse eventually gets tired of looking at this bulldozer and walks over to this pallet of irradiated barrels. Nice. We'll let him enjoy those. We can head back to the Cambridge police station, whereupon he gives us some new orders. But at this point in the game, I'm not sure if Nate wants to join the Brotherhood of Steel. And so, for now, Nate says,
I don't know.
There's a lot to take into consideration.
It's a big decision, so I understand your hesitation. If you decide you want to become one of us, you know where we are. Good luck.
And with that, Paladin Danse also walks into the bulldozer. He must be a fan of powerful machines. At any rate, we completed a quest. We got a brand new rifle. We met what could potentially be a powerful new ally here in the Commonwealth. And if we ever want to join up with them, we know where to meet them. But for now, we've got to continue our search for Sean. Even though we walked away with some great rewards, this pit stop was a bit of a distraction. We've got to find Diamond City. And so, we head south. We'll pick up right here where we leave off in my next episode. I publish new episodes each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss the next one, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have already, but you still feel like you're missing out on YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I've got a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos and access to ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.
Oh, God!